Right now, we're talking film. Actually, London-based artist Nina Danino is known for her art house films. She's made a name for herself on international film circuits, winning awards from the Arts Council of England, British Film Institute, and Channel 4, among others. She's now working on a new project and is seeking creative collaborators from Gibraltar. Good afternoon, Nina.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me.
How are you?
I'm very well actually. Yes, I'm well and happy to be here.
So you're London-based, back home for the summer.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sort of spending a little bit of time here till September.
When I read out the awards, the Arts Council of England, the British Film Institute, Channel 4, blah 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 blah. It's a pretty impressive CV, Nina.
Yes, it is, but it's very difficult as well to get them all to give you money. It's not as easy as it looks.
So what is a day in the life of Nina Danino these days?
Well, I'm partly a reader in fine art at Goldsmiths. The art program there. So that's part of my week, and then the rest of the time I make my research and do my projects. And each one is a dedicated thing, and so you have to search for the funding, the backers, the collaborators, the people who are going to support you or who might show it. So each thing is a different kind of journey, if you like. Yeah.
Can I just say you look fabulous, like effortlessly cool, en serio.
Thank you very much.
Tell us about this latest project.
Well, okay. This is because I don't just have these projects suddenly. They've been there for a long time. Often projects are there for like maybe 10 years or 7 years. So this project I did a recce for in 2017, and it's called The Far South. And I have made films in this region before. 35 years ago, I made a film called Stabat Mater, which was made in Gibraltar. And it was my little signature kind of film and so forth, a very experimental film. And it's not really going back to that, but it's kind of returning to the region and doing something in the region. So I want to do that with The Far South. And what I'd like to do is maybe find a way through which to collaborate a little bit more with the creative talent within Gibraltar, to sort of somehow, because I often work with other people in all sorts of different ways. So I think it'd be really, really nice to make the Far South in relation to the creative talent here. And I thought that would be quite a nice thing.
It's very exciting, and I'm sure there'll be a few people listening whose ears may just have perked up.
Well, exactly, and if they're interested, please contact me. If you're in whatever way, whether it's music or cinematography or even casting, this kind of thing.
Behind the camera sort of work.
Behind the camera work, but of course. I behind the camera work mainly, behind the camera work, but mainly I am looking. I think casting is a big thing for me in this film, and I'm really interested in that.
I mean, this sounds like an obvious question, but when it comes to making a good film, how important is casting?
Well, you see, the thing is that I come from my background is in experimental film, so I never worked with actors. I work with the voice a lot, my own and other people's. I work with many, and music now, but really the voice. So for me, the body was in the voice rather than in the look. But now I'm extremely interested in the face. And so for me, it's a first, really. So I haven't really worked with actors before, but it's very important, I think, the face of the person, because that's the person you're going to be looking at for a big part of the film. And so I'm really interested in that and how important the face is, as a focus of fascination, but also as a focus of interest, of many things, and it's something that's been written about a lot, and I'm interested in looking into that now.
Interested to know what the original film that you did in this region was about.
Well, Stabat Mater, it is actually somewhere online, but not directly, but indirectly, because I put it on at a symposium somewhere, and it never came down. But anybody who's interested can, of course, contact me, and I'll send them a link. It's an 8-minute film. It's a very short, intense little film, quite packed. It had two wonderful, wonderful saetas, by my mother, who's a very accomplished singer.
Lovely.
And very powerful. And then in the middle, it's the Joycean text, the Molly Bloom text, tiny little bit which I recite. And then I spent like a week, 2 weeks going through Gibraltar filming on my Super 8 camera on my own. And it was like a whole experience, of exploring. And then the way it was made was quite complicated. It looks a lot simpler than it actually was to put together, but the process was very interesting to put together. And it's just like a little nucleus of a thing, and it does refer to the Joycean text, Stabat Mater, the Molly Bloom end of, which is very famous. So I take bits of that.
Interesting. How would you compare for I suppose for most people listening or watching the show, when we think films, we think an hour and a half, 2 hours. You're talking 8-minute films
Yes.
here. What are the main challenges, different to regular length films? What are the main challenges in putting together a short film?
Yeah, that's really interesting because I have made short films, but nowadays I'm doing feature-length films. So personally, I really love duration. I like working. This film is going to be very long. The new film, The Far South, is going to be a long film, very long film. And that's deliberate kind of thing, because it's like a challenge how to work with time in film. So I enjoy that a lot, and I feel I have I've developed my own way of doing that. But yes, I used to work. Stabat Mater is my shortest film, to be honest, because I've always enjoyed duration, and it's very tempting to try and put everything into a short film. Don't do it.
Difficult though.
Yeah, don't do it. Try, try and put, only what's needed into a short space of time because you don't have the time to say everything. So it's, maybe put it into 2 or 3 different things if that's the case.
Got to be more selective and stuff.
More selective, yes. And also, I feel all what really works with the image and sound, and so it's quite a discipline, of course, in itself. But of course, because I come from experimental film, shortness was a thing. There were very long experimental films as well, but
that is a regular feature, no?
They're short films usually, and also now, oddly enough, not oddly, but interestingly enough, short films of no more than 10 minutes went into the gallery. Because people don't really want to, in a gallery, don't want to look at long pieces. So in a way, 10 minutes became quite a length for a lot of artists. They would not make very long films because of that gallery situation. So yeah, so it's a skill in itself, and I do want to make a short film as this long one I'm making, but I do have a short one that I want to make. So each thing I think should be considered in its own merit.
And very interesting about this one, local involvement. If you are just tuning in, we're speaking to local filmmaker, London-based filmmaker Nina Danino, who in her latest project is looking for local involvement. So just explain that once again. You're looking for what sort of roles, and what will those roles entail?
Well, these are collaborations. They're down to the people who contact you. I don't have like a set of jobs or anything like that at this point. But anybody who's, maybe understands the art context a little bit, doesn't have to, maybe who might want to assist or who might want to do a bit more on it. I think it could be like cinematography, as I mentioned, sound, as a producer of sound, or as
a great bit of work experience for any youngsters coming up interested in the field.
Yeah, I can offer some placements, for example. Anybody who's wanting to kind of get into that world of art or more industry, I can offer, sort of a placement, placements, and I love that actually because I work with students all the time as well. So. Yeah,
it's great. Just lastly, more broadly, we had the cast of Magdalena's Land on Gibraltar today recently. Nigel Canepa, a fellow filmmaker as well. He's already had one film out on Amazon Prime. He's hoping for another. So things heading in the right direction.
That's
and it's not always been the case that film has been a thing in Gibraltar.
That's right. I don't know. Is it Nigel Canepa?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd love to meet him if he's in Gibraltar. I'm really into
consider me the mediator.
Yeah, exactly. I like connecting up with people and meeting them and seeing what they're doing. It's part of my work really, and it sounds like there's a lot going on with cinema and film, and a lot of people making work on film, which is very extremely interesting. So yeah,
we've had Jenny get in touch, Nina, on your wanting local involvement. She says me. So there's plenty of enthusiasm coming up through our WhatsApp page. Thanks for getting in touch.
Okay, well, happy to meet people for coffee whenever.
Nina, it's been an absolute pleasure to see you again, and all the best with this latest project.
Well, thank you very much for this invitation. Lovely to see you
Have
too.
a great day and enjoy the rest of your time in Gibraltar before
Thank
heading
you.
back to London.
Thank you.